Everybody to Career Lab Wednesday, the last Career Lab Wednesday of 2024. So we are looking at how to finish the year strong and how to begin anew with lots of connectivity to yourself and to other people. So there's a few ways that you can engage. I love it, of course, when you jump in directly on Zoom and I get to talk to you one-to-one. If you're not able to do that, you are able to type your questions into the comment section. I will do my best to answer your questions through the comment section. If you notice that I'm answering your question, stay on and guide me in case I'm going one direction. Like, no, George, I'm more curious about this over here. Let me know. So there's a few ways you can engage. You can be on YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, or you can join in here directly on the Zoom link. So as I'm talking about today's topic, I want you to be aware of what you want. What are the questions that you have? Do you have questions about connecting with people at work? How to manage? How to be with your team? What if you're just kind of unsatisfied at work? What if you're seeing that it doesn't look like there's a way for you to really grow in the ways that you want to at your current company? I love those kinds of questions. I like helping people to dig in and learn more about themselves. If I'm unhappy with something, if I'm dissatisfied, looking at that can help me learn about myself. What is it that I like and don't like? And what are the things about myself that I want to develop here? Am I avoiding some conversations at work that would actually help me grow as a person? And so I'm saying, I don't like this because I'm just uncomfortable? Or is it that there really isn't a pathway for me there? Or that have I reached the top in some level and I'm not able to continue on and I'm not able to make the kind of impact that I'd like to make day to day? So I love helping people sort through this stuff. And then any questions that you have about your resume or interviewing. Oh, I love helping people with interviewing. That's a challenge. I always feel afraid if I'm going in for some kind of an interview. Anytime I'm talking to a potential new client, I feel anxious. And so I like being with you as you're sorting through how to take the next steps. What are the next pieces of challenge, the next anxieties that you are going to pay attention to and say, you know what, I want to move forward in these ways. And a lot of times that can happen with any kind of growth that we're doing in our career. So if you've joined in before, you've heard me talk about how I see career as a pathway for your development. You could look at it like spiritual development. What are the ways that I'm going to learn and grow and become who I want to be? And does this environment and the relationships that I'm building, is that helping me do that? That's the context I like to have when looking at careers. So again, you're welcome to ask any question. I will probably tie it back to emotional intelligence because that's what I tend to do. And if I don't have an answer for you, I can probably help you connect with somebody or connect you to a resource that would be a support to you. So we're looking at this year, wrapping up the year, and how to start 2025 with power. So last week we were talking about this, and if I am in a transition in my company, let's say that I'm looking to move to another organization, or I'm looking to level up in my career in the current company that I'm in, how would I start off really powerfully? What could I do now as I'm getting myself set for the next year? There's actually a few things that can really help, because in the holidays, it's a time where there can be a lot of connectivity. I might be seeing friends and family, and I could get super busy. I mean, everybody I've been talking to is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already Christmas. Like that kind of vibe, right? And so I could just try to power through it and do all the right things. And if I go about it that way, then it's like I'm relieved that the holidays are over. And then it's on to the next year. And it's like, okay, great. And now I got to have my New Year's resolutions and I got to do all the things to have a great year. And the mindset shift that I like to have is to change it from one of all this doing to more being. So how can I really be with friends and family this season? And what are the conversations that I could have that would be really meaningful to me? So if I'm in a transitional period in my career, how am I going to talk about that? How am I going to talk about myself as I am stepping into something new? How am I going to talk about myself and start to reframe the past year challenges that I've had towards what I really want for myself? So I'll say a little bit more about that, but I want to remind everybody who's joining in that you can engage in a few ways. I welcome you to type your questions into the comment section or jump in on here with me on Zoom. Either one works. And again, your questions, they don't have to seem like they're on topic. I will probably make them on topic. But you can type your questions into the comment section and I will do my best to address those questions. So what I want you to do is, as you're picturing next year, as you're starting to think about your hopes and your dreams, and that's actually a skill that you can develop, is allowing yourself to vision more, allowing yourself to be with what you really want. My meditation app this morning, said something to me like that, like, don't go for what you know you can get, go for what you really want. And so I want you to think about that. What would be most important to you? What are the things that you really care about? What do you value? I think about something Viktor Frankl, a guy who survived the Holocaust and was an incredibly joyous human being and talked a lot about purpose and meaning in life. And he said, the reason I made it through is because I had a purpose. I was living with meaning. And he talked about how to have a satisfying life and to do what I could do, I actually often need to aim higher. So this is a skill to allow myself to really want things and then go for them. And understand that I might not hit all those goals, but it's the fact that I'm going for it that's going to be better. That's going to have me enjoying life more. So if you're in a company where there's some goals that the company has, and what would it be like to let yourself really want to hit those, to really want to make the bonuses? And let yourself be with that, because I feel uncomfortable letting myself really want. I've often been trained to look for, well, what seems reasonable, that kind of thing. And then if I keep living my life that way, just going for what I can assume I could achieve, then I'm not really tapping the joy and excitement of life. I'm not really becoming who I could become. So to allow myself to say, you know what, I want to double my income. How am I going to do that? Well, stay with, first of all, what that looks and feels like. And I think when a lot of people do this sort of exercise, they often just want to get high from it. They want to avoid some of the feelings that people have referred to as negative feelings, which if you've listened to me talk about this before, you know I don't think there's any such thing as negative feelings. Feelings are all data. It's all good. So let yourself be with really wanting. And the discomfort that you might feel in really wanting. Because it's going to mean that I'm going to have to do new things. I'm going to have to take risks that I haven't taken before. I'm probably going to make mistakes. I'm probably going to look stupid sometimes. I might even do or say some things that kind of have people be angry with me or uncomfortable with me. And I know from coaching that that's a big deal for a lot of us. It certainly is for me. And so I want you to keep visioning, the goals that you have, the kind of impact that you want to make in life, what's really important to you. And keep visioning for that, what you want, and let yourself have the discomfort of it. Don't try to go above those feelings. Don't try to say that there's anything wrong with the discomfort in letting yourself really want. You're going to let yourself acknowledge the fears. Because it's going to mean if you're going to make the kind of impact that you want to make, you're going to have conversations with your boss, with your team, with potential clients. You're going to have conversations that are uncomfortable. So let yourself be with that discomfort now as you're picturing hitting your goals. Let's say you're on a sales team and you're picturing, the success of, oh my gosh, I hit my goal. Wow, my team hit its goal. And the joy and the delight that you have there. But now let yourself be with the discomfort of all of the phone calls and all of the cold calls and all of the questions that your team has asked you. And all the times where you're scrambling to go get some more info or whatever it is that you need. And let yourself be with that. Let yourself be with those anxieties that you know are going to happen. And let it run through your body. Let the anxiety and the fear move through you. See, we spend a lot of our life numbing our feelings. And our feelings give us profound insights into things. And so if I can just let myself be with whatever I'm feeling, So I'm picturing the successes coming my way in next year. I let myself be with all the upset that's going to happen along the way. And then I don't have to close myself off to a lot of opportunities. So I'm spending a lot of energy kind of saying no to stuff that I probably don't need to say no to. So this is why I'll go back to this kind of meditative state in a little bit here, but I want to attach it to something that I'm doing on January 4th. So this is one of the reasons I go into ice water regularly. It's because it's a full-bodied way for me to be with anxiety. Every time I feel afraid, this morning when we went in, I said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this." And every time, every step in there, as I feel the icy cold come up my legs, over my belly, up to my neck, I mean, it's scary. And then, as I allow myself to be with the fear, because I don't fight it, I just let that wash over me. And as I let the fear wash over me, then it turns into excitement and joy and aliveness. And on a lot of the things that I'm afraid to do, I'll think about them in the water. And I'll let the anxieties come. And I'll tell you what, you know, uncomfortable conversations just seem a whole lot less scary when I'm sitting out in ice water. So when I'm visioning about the interactions that I'm going to have, it's like, you know what? My body can handle being in ice water. So I'm going to be able to handle some of these uncomfortable conversations. And in fact, I might even enjoy them. And I'll think about when I'm working with coaching clients. I mean, sometimes people bring in some pretty big challenges, you know, things that they got going on in their family life, you know, holidays, and just some of the discord that happens. And it's like, wow, they wanna engage with their family differently than they usually do. And it's going to require that they have uncomfortable conversations and that they set some boundaries and limitations to friends and family. And they're uncomfortable doing it because they haven't done it before. You know, and so I'm in the coaching session with them, and it's like, and I feel it, you know, and I think about my friends and families and the ways that I want to be more confident, in the ways that I want to set boundaries and set goals and have things happen and have more intimacy with my friends and family, have deeper relationships, and the risks that I'm going to take in doing that. So while I'm talking to my clients, like, I'm letting myself feel the anxiety. I'm letting myself be afraid. Because as I do that, I open up to more joy, to more excitement in my life. So, yes, thank you. Thank you, Jane, for throwing that in there. So that's why on January 4th, I am doing a workshop where it's going to be a cool combo of things. One is preparing you for ice water. So you're going to get personalized training for that. Of course, we'll do the Wim Hof breath work, and I will help you access your diaphragm more if that's something that you need. And we'll do some other breaths too, and we'll practice being with fear. and friending your fear. We'll practice making friends with fear. There's a number of people that say, I want to get over my fear. I want to stop being afraid. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Fear is the doorway to your life. I mean, think about it. Like a little baby coming to this planet. That's terrifying. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have my heart broken. I'm going to have like friends and family like leave me, come back to me. Challenging things are going to happen. I'm going to make mistakes. Like, oh my gosh, life is painful. I should be afraid. And so that's what we'll be doing is exercises to help prime myself, help prime my body, my mind, my being, to help prime me to be with anxiety in 2025. I mean, my goodness, we've got a lot of changes going on. So instead of trying to fix things and contain things and put things in boxes, we're all pretty good at that already. We're going to practice being more expansive, more open to the life that wants to flow through us. So we'll be doing exercises to help us be more present with fear and aliveness. So we're coming up already on halfway through today, and I want to remind everybody that any questions you have, you'd be like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted some help with my resume. That's great. Throw any questions that you have into the chat. Any questions that you have about work relationships, your purpose at work, how to be happy. Like, I got my job, I'm doing things, but there's all these little ways that I'm unsatisfied. I'm not happy with how things are going here. What can I do? So it's all fair game. You can type your questions into the comment section. I'll do my best to respond. As I'm waiting, I'll go through a little meditation now as another step to set yourself up for a powerful 2025. We're like 2 weeks away now. So you're going to have a lot of activity. Or not, maybe. I mean, some of my clients are going on vacation. Some of my friends have said, what we're doing for the holidays is leaving. And so whatever your plans are, I want you to let yourself picture whether it's going to be with friends and family or whether you are on a warm beach with your toes in the sand. Let yourself picture yourself with whatever you're going to do over the holidays. Watch some movies snuggled up. And let yourself feel the nourishment and the comfort, the delight. And let that sink in to your body. And then allow yourself to start noticing the anxieties as well. Let yourself feel the discomfort of travel. going through the airport security line, of driving, of showing up to somebody's house and wondering what it's going to be like in there, and how are you going to do, how do you look. Just like whatever the feelings are that you have, whatever thoughts and feelings, and picture yourself talking to people, and let yourself sink in to what you really want to know. What is it that you really care about while you're talking to people? What matters to you about your interactions? Do you want to share some of the exciting things you've done over the year, some of the things you're proud of, to have other people reflect back to you their acknowledgement of your successes? Do you want to talk about some of the challenges you've had, some of the things you've worked through? And then what are some of the things that you want to ask? What do you want to ask people? What do you want to know more about with people? You know, I had this, I went to a holiday party the other day, and it was so cool as I was asking somebody about how they got into painting. Like they're a painter and they teach painting. And just that, like, well, how'd you get into that? And it was really interesting because they never saw themselves as a painter growing up. They didn't want to do it. But as they started learning more and they got into, the techniques of creating that, and then you're like, my gosh, paintings are amazing. And then it locked for them, and like, I want to do this. And so hearing that whole journey of how they came to be in the career that they're in, and it was so fun for me to listen into that, because I get to, relate, and I had all kinds of light bulbs go off for myself about me and my career path. So what are the things that matter to you, and how are you going to ask? Who do you let yourself picture the people you're going to talk to, even on an airplane? I love when I sit next to a chatty person on an airplane. I've made some good friends that way. What is it that how are you going to open up a conversation with people? And let yourself feel those bits of anxiety. And notice how, as you ask a question and somebody opens up and starts sharing with you, notice how that fear turns to delight. How that fear turns to interest, to novelty. You're learning something new about a whole other person. And let yourself notice your judgments. If you're a cynical, judgmental person, that's great. We all are, by the way. But if you are, let yourself be with that, noticing like, oh, I have my judgments about this person that's saying this stuff, and like, what's going on for me around that? What anxieties are underneath those judgments? Notice yourself in the one up, one down game. Fritz Perls talked a lot about this, how we're always kind of playing one down, one up. Oh, that person's doing this really cool thing. What are they, so they better than me? Like, just noticing how that happens. Nothing wrong with it. It's a thing that happens. And then there's all those sweet moments, because when I let myself acknowledge that I'm jealous and judgmental, and I look at what it is to me, like, oh man, that person's really going for it. That person's doing things that, like, shoot, I guess I'm jealous because I want to do it. Oh no, now I'm admitting that I want to do something that it's kind of scary. Oh man, what's it going to take for me to do that? Am I going to do it really? Am I going to go for that? I don't know. But so as I do that, it's like I'm clearing myself out, letting myself be with all the thoughts and feelings I have, whatever they are, as I'm talking to somebody. And as I do that, it actually opens me up to have those moments of mutuality, or I'm just being with somebody else, being with them as a magnificent, screwed up human being just like me. And then I'm making deeper contact with me and with that other person. I'm using the relationship to learn more about me and them. And now I'm using the connections that I'm getting over holiday time. I'm using that to fill me up and empower me, juice me up for the new year. And wow, I deepened all kinds of relationships. I'm going to take that into my new year. I'm going to deepen relationships with my coworkers, with my clients. I'm going to take more risks. I'm going to reach out more. Yeah, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I will probably get rejected many times. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're in sales, you get rejected all the time. I mean, we all get rejected all the time. We make bids for attention and bids for connection that don't come through, like, a lot. I want your joy in the face of fear. Well, that can certainly be arranged. So, just that want, yes. Allowing myself to be with that want is one of the first steps into more joy and aliveness in life. So nice job. Thanks for saying that. And it really is. I mean, think about life. And most of what people say they wanted more of when they're approaching death is, I wish people really knew me and knew how I felt. That's a big one. And so it's pretty doable. Like, I have many, many opportunities every day. That's a quick, I'll share about this in closing. Again, I'll say any questions that you have, anything that's on your heart, go ahead and get it in now, because I'm going to wrap up. But I will share a story about a new client, and they started practicing noticing what they're feeling: fear, hurt, anger, sadness, joy. They started saying that more and more to themselves. And then they started saying it more to their friends and family. So saying it to their kids, being like, "Oh yeah, I felt angry when I got a a speeding ticket showed up in the mail." If you live in Chicago or probably any city at these points, there's all these cameras all over the place, and if you go like 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, you get tickets. I feel angry and I feel afraid. They're just saying that. There's some basic, simple things. Oh, I was angry when I got a ticket in the mail. He said that to his family. And then as the weekend went on, his family said to him, "Wow, you seem a lot calmer than usual. Yeah, it's really nice talking to you." And his mind was kind of blown because he's like, "Well, here I am. I'm saying my feelings more. I'm noticing what I'm feeling more. And it's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable doing it. And I thought it was going to lead to more and more upset and discomfort. But it turns out that I actually experience more joy, more groundedness, and that the people around me are telling me that it's easier to be around me. You know? Isn't that cool?" And so as he's telling people more about what he really feels, it's about little shit, Not a big deal. He's being more seen, more understood. And his family likes knowing him more, likes understanding him more. So it's changing his relationship to himself and the people around him. Just a simple thing. Noticing and saying feelings. I mean, that is like a moment-to-moment way of being with discomfort. Because we've all been trained that feelings are dangerous or there's something wrong with them, they're too much. We've all been trained that in some way. So sharing more about myself in the ways that I wouldn't have before will get me more satisfied. So just be with that. Imagine yourself doing that over the holidays and think about how nourishing that's going to be and how you're going to take that into the new year. So, as we're wrapping up here, I want to say again, January 4th, I have got a 4-hour workshop I am doing with breath work. We're going to do several different kinds of breath work that really help be with fear, turn that into aliveness. And then we'll be going out to the beach and going into the ice water. And I want to say that if the ice water is not a thing that you are ready for, you are welcome to come anyway. Maybe you'll put your feet in, just experience that, or put a finger in, whatever. It's not about the ice water. It's just exercises to help be more conscious and present with fear. So I'll be doing a series of exercises and having everybody check in about what they want from the year and narrowing it down to something that you can do moment to moment through each day for the next year that's going to have a big impact overall. I often think about that. If you're off track of who you could be and what you want to be doing in life, and you turn a few degrees, you just develop one new behavior, and think about the difference that makes through your year. It's pretty big. And then you get to realize that you have made progress. And you get to know that, oh my gosh, I have agency. I am capable. I can make changes that are important to me. Yeah, I can't do everything all at once, but I am able to tweak things. And so these skills that I talk about, social emotional intelligence, anybody can do it. You don't have to be super smart. Sometimes being super smart, it kind of gets in the way. You have to learn how to get more into your intuition. So join me January 4th. Again, you don't have to come into the ice water, but even just being out on the beach when it's cold and being with the fears that come up with that is a big risk. And will help you practice how you're going to be in the new year. Okay, so take a look at that. Friend your fear in 2025. And again, as I say, I'm here most Wednesdays from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time, but we've got Christmas and New Year's happening on Wednesday the next 2 weeks. So I'm not going to see you for 3 weeks. I'll be back. What's that date? I'll be back on January 8th. So until then, many blessings. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Of course, if you want to reach out to me in the meantime, you can do that. You can book a 15 to 20 minute time on my calendar. I've got a few spots open this week, and I'm meeting with people on Monday, and then I'm off for a bit. And so go ahead and set up a time to talk with me one-to-one. And if you want to lean into fear and excitement in 2025, join me January 4th here in Chicago, an in-person event. And let me know if you have any questions about it. All right, everybody. Happy holidays.